All right, welcome back to the Lit Cave. This is a very late entry into the Top 5 Wednesday videos. This is Top 5 Wednesday, and today's topic is Top 5 Books Over 500 Pages. Now, it's not real specific about what kind of books they would be, and so I feel like a lot of people have chosen specific novels that they really love that were over 500 pages. I'm going to be a little weird about it. I'm going to do a lot of like bind-ups and anthologies and that kind of stuff. But because they're probably the 5 books that I have that are over 500 pages that I love the most. So, the first one that I'm going to show is probably the most out there one, the most different one. And that is the Top 500 Poems. So this book is well over 500 pages. It's 1,132 pages, including glossaries and that kind of thing. But I love this book. I love poetry, and when you kind of flip through this book, there's a lot of there's a lot of poems you would expect in here, and then there's some poems in there that you're like, whoa, I've never heard of this before, and it's just really unique and interesting. I teach regular 9th grade English, and I teach gifted and talented 9th grade English, and the gifted and talented class, we spend a fair amount of time on poetry. In the regular class, we get to spend a little bit of time on poetry, but not a whole lot. But it's something I really enjoy because, there's so many different types of poetry. In fact, I really recommend, if you've never seen it, there's a video on YouTube of a poem called Touchscreen that is amazing, and I highly recommend it. I show it to my students every year. Okay, next book I'm going to say, and by the way, these are in no specific order or anything like that. These are just 5 books I love that are over 500 pages. So the next book that I'm going to say is the George MacDonald Treasury. If you don't know who George MacDonald is a really phenomenal author, and he's an author that had a huge impact on C.S. Lewis. He's Scottish, and this is a bind-up of a lot of his works, specifically his like fairy tales and that kind of stuff. He's got a lot of goblin stories, and it's just really great stuff, and Lewis took a lot of inspiration from him. This book's 654 pages. I used a few of the stories in here, like The Princess and the Goblin, and The Princess and the Curdy. I used those in a paper that I wrote in a class I took on perspectives on early modern thought, I think. I think that's the class I took. And was dealing with the idea of friendship in George MacDonald's works. So really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. The next book that I chose is my favorite Harry Potter book, which is The Order of the Phoenix. I've said this before, and I'll probably say it to the day I die. This is so many people's least favorite book. It's my absolute favorite book about Harry Potter. It's a huge book, and it's the one that took her the longest to write. A lot of people were waiting for it. Luckily, I got into Harry Potter after she'd written all 7, so I didn't have to wait. But this book's 870 pages. Definitely my favorite. I love a lot of what's going on with the characterization in this book. I also love that Harry kind of has everything kind of taken away from him, and when it's all taken away from him, he kind of discovers who he really is. By the way, spoilers. But I wasn't specific, so I don't know if that counts. But he kind of figures out who he really is and begins his path, his journey into becoming the Harry Potter that he needs to be by book 7. So definitely my favorite Harry Potter book. The 4th book that I chose is City of Heavenly Fire. I've seen lots of people choose Clockwork Princess, and to be honest, I do like the Infernal Devices series a little bit more than the Mortal Instruments series, but I also love the Mortal Instruments series so much. Now, this book suffers from something that Ben from Benjamin of Tomes has talked about, which is that this is a British paperback, and for some reason they decided to make this book bigger than the other 5 books in the series. Like I'm not talking about thickness, although it is thick, but I mean it's actually taller than the other paperbacks, and I actually have the other British paperbacks as well, so this doesn't match, which drives me crazy. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that, but we will have to find some sort of a solution. This book is 733 pages. It was a phenomenal conclusion to the Mortal Instruments series. And the last choice, and I brought this out recently in my Christmas Carols book tag. I know Samantha from Novels and Nonsense was drooling over it a little bit, but this is my copy of The Lord of the Rings. And I've got to say, it's, here it is in its dust jacket. and everything like that. I've got to say, it's definitely one of my absolute favorite books. And right now, I'm on a Lord of the Rings and Hobbit kick. I just got the extended editions of both the Hobbit movies, and I'm going to be watching them before I go see The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies on December 17th. And I'm really ready to get back into reading Tolkien. I'm going to be reading The Hobbit in December before I go see it as well. So this is a bind-up of all 3 Lord of the Rings books, and just a beautiful edition. And with the indexes and the appendices and everything, this is 1,157 pages. So, but I love it. I love it. I love it. Is this weird? Is this strange? I don't even care. I don't care at all. Beautiful book. So anyway, I'm filming both this and my November book haul. I'm filming both of these on the day before Thanksgiving, and so I hope that you have a fantastic Thanksgiving spent with the people that you love, and that you get to enjoy a nice meal. And for those of you who are watching this that work retail, I hope that you get to be off. But if you're not, then I hope that customers are kind to you and that they appreciate the sacrifices that you're making. I've worked in retail for a long time. So anyway, happy Thanksgiving, and I hope that you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again. Same lit time, same lit channel.